Okay, we're back again. My apologies. I accidentally just ended the stream early there. So we're back again. Streaming, Psy Music, production, and... oh, come on. We're back again, streaming, Psy Music, production and writing, live on YouTube. If you find the stream entertaining or informative, please consider dropping us a like and possibly a subscribe. Hey, we're back in, and we have Fallen Leaf. Apologies for the mess up with the thing. And we have Dido, a good friend and collaborator on a past tune. Yeah, cool, right. We're rolling. I'd like to reinstall everything since the last stream, so let me know how the levels are. Let me know if there's anything up, anything wrong, how it's sounding. Let's have a listen to what we are doing today. This track's coming on pretty nicely, actually. Not too much work left to do. And I thought I'd try a different Ableton theme. A bit more chill, a bit more mellow, darker theme. You're a Twitch partner. Oh, very nice. That's cool. I need to go find your channel at some point then, I guess. I do have a Twitch channel as well, but to be honest, the numbers, the video view numbers on YouTube would just seem so much higher than on Twitch that I thought I'd give the YouTube streams a crack this time. Good evening, Charlie. How's it going? Charlie being another member of Altera Project. And therefore a regular collaborator with me. Drathmorg. Yeah, I'll go find you. Sure. Maybe I'll do a Twitch stream at some point as well. Work at 4:30. Oof, that's pretty intense, man. I thought when I was bus driving I had early starts at like 6 AM. Thanks, Dido. Yeah, it's turned out really nice, this. It's been an easy track to write as well. It's come together a treat. You seem to work all times a day, Fallen Leaf. Thanks, Dido. See, this is maybe the kind of thing I was thinking for our collab, because me and Dido is Cosmic Phase, by the way, guys. I did a collaboration track called Just Beyond the Horizon with him. And we're planning to do another collaboration soon. And yeah, this kind of like dubsteppy, kind of like chill vibe, chill step vibe was what I was thinking maybe for our next collab as well, Dido. If you're up for that. So currently this is the only area of the track which is empty. So there is still a little bit of writing to be done. Kind of Quanto land switcher vibes. Oh, that's a high praise. Two legendary artists. These are the new sounds that I've migrated over from a different project file. Need a little bit of tidying. Pretty nice sounds though. And I've got plans to like develop the drums and bass around these sounds as well. Thanks, Fallen Leaf, yeah. Yeah, the Infiltrator vocoder is insane. Okay, cool. That's where we're at with the track. So, coming up pretty nice. Like, the main sections are sounding pretty good. These new sounds that I've just put in, they could do with a bit of a tidy. So that's my first plan, just a bit of a tidy up. Then go into the bass and drums and try and use the bass and drums to accentuate some of the kind of like cool moments in this. But yeah, these just... I think that one doesn't... Yeah, nice. This very cool, but just a little bit loud. Do a little bit of mixing as we go along. Again, this kind of like gets a bit too loud. I'm not going to do too much on this. I'm just going to have a little bit of a tidy up and then move on to actually writing. Cool, yeah. So there were some ideas I had around the bass and the drums. About like little mini breakdowns in the middle of the section, just things to spice it up a bit, 'cause at the moment it just kind of like, it's the same thing looping over and over in terms of drums and bass. And I think straight away here we can do something. With the, yeah, I think we can maybe just take out this snare for now. And some of the kick drums as well. And this, you see here, we can do something with the bass as well. I want to do something. Yeah. And then maybe like drop out the bass for the second bar. Yeah. Aha, and this. This wow, 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 wow. Maybe we could mirror that in the bass. We're in A, aren't we? So we just like... something like that, maybe? Something like that. And here, during this little wow wow, just drop the bass out as well. And then we need a crash there if we're going to do that. On the downbeat. Just to accentuate that. What's going on there? So where have I put the crashes? Let's have a look. Ah, there's one. It's not all of them though, surely. Where have I put the crashes? Here we go. No? Oh, they're all the way down here. No? There is a crash here. Ah, there we go, yeah. Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Nice to come back to music after having not done it for so long, eh? There it is. Just to go there. Yeah, nice. Ah, here's something. Hear that little... We can accentuate that by changing the... Yeah, this here. Take out the kick as well. And here as well. I think here we'll just drop off out all the drums to make that really epic. Just try to get absolutely everything. There's something else happening here that I would quite like to drop out as well. Probably here, I'm guessing. Yeah, nice. Cool, yeah, so this is where and we need to clean up the ending as well, because at the moment it ends just very suddenly. What I usually do is put like a kick and a crash on the end, just to make it have that sense of continuity, so it's not just like the floor's just like pulled out from beneath your feet. You've actually got something that like ends the section intentionally. Right, cool. So where we're at with this track is the intro's kind of all right. It's going to be better. I think that's a bit of writing that I still want to do. I still want to develop like the very intro, as in this kind of droney section. I still feel like the melodies that are going on there need a bit of work. And then we get to this section with the melody, which is sounding pretty nice. And that builds up towards the first drop. But I think what I want is some kind of percussion or some drums to accentuate this build-up. So like bring in a little bit of a beat or something, just a little bit early. I'm thinking something like this. Maybe even another loop as well. I'm going to just add in another track here and just jump into those PML samples again, because they've got some nice perk loops, and see if I can't find something decent. Yeah, just a little kind of like ramping it up a little bit, just add to that structure, add to the sense of anticipation. Organic perk loops sounds promising. If it ever opens the folder. Loading this off an external SSD. Oh, not responding. Something like that might be exactly what I was after, actually. To warp it. What is the speed on that? 120, cool. So if I warp this, so half of 1 in 20 is 60. So instead of slowing it all the way down from 120 down to 62, which is almost halved in speed, that's an extreme time stretch. What I'm just going to do is divide 120 by 2, 60, and take 60 as the given tempo. A little bit out. Maybe that instead might be a bit... It's a little bit less complicated, a little bit less to go wrong. Again though, I'm going to have to do the whole warp in. As you can see, it's 120 BPM, same as the other one. And I'm going to fade this in. So this is a little bit out, isn't it? Doesn't quite make sense. Let's make sure it's all nicely in time. Cool, okay. So maybe a little bit on the loud side this. I'll get an EQ out and dial it in a little bit as well. So I haven't actually categorized all my plugins yet. Reinstalled everything since the last stream. Literally everything. Ableton, OBS, all my plugins. I had to re-register all my plugins. Hopefully I've done everything. But what I haven't found the time yet to do is categorize them all into separate categories like EQ, dynamics, delay, reverb, which I usually do for my own organisation, so it's easy to find stuff. But I just have to go through this big list at the moment and find the plugin that I'm thinking of. Let's get this filtered in a little bit, do a little frequency sweep. And we'll do the same with this one as well. Just filter in. So one thing I would be a bit gutted if I don't have is phaser, which is crap. So yeah, I haven't got some of my plugins are still missing. This Faces is a Native Instruments plugin, and I love the Native Instruments stuff, but I'm not very impressed with that as a phaser. I can't quite get it to just do what I want it to do. Whereas Phaser, which is a free plugin, it just sounds great. I'm going to have a go at this Kilohertz phaser and see if that produces some interesting results. He won't make it for Mac. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, it's really great. Like the best, simple, super effective phaser plugin. That Phaser, spelt with a Z and an O. I will show it to you next time once I've installed it properly. Let's try a flanger on this one as well, see what that sounds like. And I've got an idea with these with these hi-hats, is that I want to bounce them to audio and then do like a tape stop on them towards the end. I might even put a little snare, maybe? Not sure actually. Put a little kick here as well. Oh, where's my crashes? So I'm going to solo these two. make another track, and I'm going to set the input to resampling. Now what resampling does is it takes the output of Ableton and it re-records it into this track. So whatever you've got playing, whatever you can hear when it's playing, will get re-recorded. Whatever you can't hear will not get recorded. And I just want to get these two hi-hat lines together, recorded onto one track, so I can do my tape stop effect. What wrapper do you use, Fallen Leaf? Do you use Wine? It's been ages since I've used that. I used to do Mac gaming using Wine. Cool. Right, so we can mute all these now because we have them recorded onto a separate track. And what I'm going to use to do the tape stop effect is Infiltrator. Plugin regulars on the channel will be well versed in by now. Elements allows VSTs to be loaded into audio units and vice versa. That sounds extremely useful. I've never come across that before. To be honest, I've never really had... it's been a long time since I've had these kind of compatibility issues with plugins. Yeah. It's free. To be honest, I'm trying to get my my Linux rig up and running for audio, for music production, and getting my VSTs to work on Linux is a challenge I'm currently approaching. So Elements might be the answer to that, to be honest. Right, so we've got the tape stop control. Okay, so that didn't work as planned. I think because what I want to do is start the top and go all the way down. Got to set up this vary speed carefully to make sure it does what I want it to do. So just going forward, I don't want it to go backwards or anything. And then the speed should go from full. Yeah, there we go. That's what I wanted it to do. Cool. So I think we might even want to start it at 50%, go all the way down. I didn't really hear much movement until it went past the 50% mark. So we're going to... yeah, something like that. Kind of getting approximately where I want it to be now. Let's just listen to a bit before. Need something extra here, I think, like synth-wise. Yeah, cool. Starting to sound pretty good. going. This section sounded pretty good. So the next job is to try and think about this middle breakdown, which is like the big breakdown that delineates the two sections of the track. Now this wood burner thing that's going on is pretty cool. It's you know, one of those kind of non-electrical fans that you put on top of a wood burner. Once it heats up, it spins around. It's a recording of one of them. It sounds pretty nice. Cyber! Hey, how's it going? Now that man can make Psybass. He's got an awesome YouTube channel on which he does just that. And thanks, yeah, I'm really happy with how this is turning out, to be honest, Cyber. Cool, so this section here, this ice storm thing it's like harsh. Yeah, it's just like, I've noticed this before when I've been listening back to this, is it's just a bit on the harsh side for a chill out track, you know? Not necessarily what we want. It's also on the same track as the clock ticks, which is not what we want. It's a very different type of sound. If I process this, then vocode it. Ooh, that is not a bad idea. Let's get an infiltrator. Load up the vocoder here. Let's just loop this. Ooh, that's nice. That's a bit softer now. Kind of like a background huzz, like an electrical buzz or something. Ooh, I like it. Kind of possibly complements the wood burner as well. Yeah. It needs to be pitched carefully though. Aha, yes, you can turn on frequency by note, which is pretty epic. Yeah, thanks for the little suggestion there, Fallen Leaf. It turned out really nice. I wouldn't have thought of that, I don't think. Problem is, they both got sub frequencies going on, so these two sub frequencies are kind of like running into each other. They're muddying each other. So I think I kind of like the drone, the sub from the ice swarm pitched. So I think what I'll do is I'll EQ out the sub from the fan. His little cut on the low end. Indeed. The clap is really cool. What you mean the clap, you mean the snare that I'm using for during the actual beat, during the drop. You talking about the snare there, Cyber? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I've been trying to, like, I've got a tendency to, like, really over-engineer snares, have, like, a million layers to them and make them, like, super optimized for, like, power. But I decided to just chill for this one. I've got a kind of intention to make music that's more chilled out than I have been doing. And one really good way to set the intention for that early on is to just, like, not try and super optimize the snare across the whole frequency spectrum. Oops, sorry. But just have, like, 1 or 2 layers. At least for me, anyway. Right, so again, I want to probably... That's this kind of like little pad between these 2 elements. It's pretty nice. In fact... Well, yeah, I mean, it probably is a clap, something like that. But it's like, it's doing the job of a snare, so I just call it a snare. I guess they're like rim shot kind of things. These are actually out of a recording I did in the studio at uni, just called Various Hits, which is just me hitting random objects together in a studio. And yeah, they make pretty nice. Make pretty nice snares. And then I've got this going on as well, which is just Vital with some white noise. I tell a lie, it's not white, it's not exactly white noise. It's a sawtooth wave that's frequency modulated by white noise all the way up to full, and effectively creates a white noise, but it's just got a slightly different quality to it, which is I find a little bit nicer for snares. So instead of just using the white noise, just use like any waveform, load up frequency modulation from the noise, and just turn it up to max and experiment with that. And then obviously I've got a very tight envelope on it, and it just adds a bit of consistency. I'm using 2 different kind of clap samples or rim samples for the snare. Just to tie them both together, I've got this common element across all the snares as well. And actually it does a pretty nice thing on every other one. Like this first one is pretty much bang on the beat. The second one is just very slightly delayed, so every other snare has got this like this kind of like flam, which is I think flamberge is the drumming term, where you like do 2 quick hits just like straight after another, I think. So yeah, every second snare has got that going on as well. Right, so what I actually wanted to do is try and copy some of these across into this section. And then maybe have a little riser coming up, and then start bringing the drums back in here. Not sure about that. I think I'll use the other one. Use these claps rather than the white noise hit. And then where have my crashes gone? Crashes are so useful as well for just like for feeling the structure of the track. So if you've got like a big empty section, which can be very daunting, you know, just like mapping it out a bit by putting some crashes in here and there, so you can feel when the kind of transitions should happen. So I think maybe for this midsection, I'm not going to use this second one. I'm just going to use this. And again, maybe I'll like have a go at like a phaser or something. Try this phaser, see if I can get it to do anything good. Need to remember to automate it off. Yeah, it's got a little bit of subtle modulation. And then we'll be wanting some hi-hats in here as well, but I don't think I'll use the same hi-hats as last time, just for the sake of variety, you know. Duck track spacer for the kick sidechain. Oh yeah, that's pretty much the two. Those are the two plugins that I use, Duck and Track Spacer, and it depends on what style of track I'm making as to which I use. So for a chill out track like this, usually I would just, and especially if it's like a dub. This isn't really dub. This is more Psybass. For a dub track, I would just usually use Track Spacer. I have used Duck for this. Because I don't know, I just got to use your ears, man. And I know that's extremely unhelpful advice, but if I would usually just chuck on a track spacer and it would sound great straight away. But I wanted a bit more. I guess I wanted a bit more of like a pump, more of a pumping effect on this. So I've used Duck, which I found I could get it a lot cleaner. So yeah, I usually go track spacer into Duck rather than the other way around, by the way. But each their own. Kilohertz compactor. Now, I haven't used that before. What does that do? Let's have a look at this. I'm guessing it's a compressor. Yeah. To be honest, I tend to avoid compressors because I think these kind of like things like Duck or LFO tool, which is another, or Gatekeeper is another one, where you can just automate the volume, is better than using a compressor because they come with some weird artifacts of their own, like accentuating resonant frequencies and stuff like that. Track spacer is my usual go-to, but again, you know, that's like a multi-band EQ. So when you're EQing stuff, that introduces phasing issues, which, you know, for a nice clean sounding track like this is often not what you want. If you want a clean transient, it's unbeatable. For me, the Duck's unbeatable. That's what I use the Duck for, is because you can just like literally take the volume all the way down to almost zero. I find if you take it down to completely zero. Ring modulator sidechain. That is insane. All right, I'm going to give it a go. Next track I make, promise you, I will give that a go for sidechaining, which won't be too far away. And get this track polished off soon. Cool. So where was I? I was doing this. Think of it as like something that stamps out the waveform way more precisely. Interesting. Duck in the trash. No, I'll never trash Duck. Hey, I might have a chance to do a preset pack for Duck soon. We'll see. I've got this track sounding like really, really nice though. Probably better than any other times I've tried to do this kind of style before. I'm so pleased with how clean the kick and bass is in this. kilohertz stuff is free. Like, obviously they've got more complex plugins if you want to go and spend money, but these are just like standalone, like individual effects, and they're great. And it's just like a free pack. Definitely recommend it. You should get it, Dido. Right, so we're starting to structure this out a bit. There needs some kind of like little riser here. Now, I had some risers in the intro. I'm wondering if I can recycle them a little bit like this. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I can. Do something like this. It's got no EQ on. Cool. Got all these unused tracks here. See, all these are turned off. They look like unedited audio to me. Oh yeah, some throat singing that did. I might reuse that. To be honest, what? Ooh, that might be good for the. Yeah, okay. These are sounding pretty cool. I think I'm going to use these for the intro, and then I might use them for the outro as well, because I've been thinking that the beat just kind of ends a bit slowly. What I might do is have a little kind of like mini breakdown just here, and then bring it in for another 4 or 8 bars, but just like stripped back, chilled, just like ease out the end of the track. We got these throat singing bits, which sound pretty interesting. Right, I'm going to set up a new delay because this one's a bit short. Now these throat singing recordings are potentially usable, but I would want like one of them to ring out throughout the whole thing rather than having a bunch of different ones. Hopefully, I'll be able to you'll be able to see what I mean in a sec. So delays, what delay do I want? Probably replica. Good old replica, nice Native Instruments delay plugin. This is the free version, but there is a paid version which is even better. Cool, so these might sound pretty cool. Let's see how they flow. Oh, I'm thinking maybe a little bass swell to coincide with this one as well. Let's go up to the bass. Gotta follow your nose with these things when you get an idea. Just to... Where does it start? Don't know what happened there. So this is the filter cut-off automation I've got here. Just want to like have it so that it kind of swells in with the throat singing. It's a little bit simplistic at the moment. I'm wondering about doing something like this. Give it a bit more kind of wobble to it. A little bit fast. Also, what about if we like bent up towards it, so kind of like mirrors how the throat singing kind of works. If we started it an octave down. I think this second one comes up too high. And there's some of these just don't really need to be there at the end. I think we just want to like drop them out before the drop comes. Modulate a bit of downsampling for some extra high-end grit. What is that on, you're thinking? On the bass wubs? Good idea. I think I'll do just that. To be honest, there's like it's not, like I've noticed this when I've been listening back to the recordings of this track. Is it sounds like the bass is downsampled, but it's not. Like when I listen to it on my own computer, it doesn't sound downsampled at all. I think it must be something to do with the YouTube compression that is making it sound downsampled. Because I don't know if you can hear it, Cyber. Is that why you suggested that? Because you can hear it. There's very slight, very high frequency grit on it, on the bass, which is not there on the in the DAW here. It's not there for me. Right. So what I've found is the kilohertz downsampler. What's it called? Bit crush. You thought it was? Yeah, I see. It's not. It's a weird one. Oh, actually, I'm just going to use the Ableton. What's it called? Redux. Nice and simple. I like this plugin. Yeah, obviously my bass is too clean for YouTube. It can't hack it. So we got the Redux sample rate here. Cool. Do a little bit of automation, right? Try something like that. Yeah, nice. That was a sick idea, Cyber. Bass too clean for YouTube. Yeah. That's my new slogan. I think the instant change is causing some artifacts, especially on this first one. Yeah, I think it might be this filter actually that's causing the artifacts. Yeah. Do something a bit more like that. Because otherwise, we've got some weird artifacts going on. Might just be what it is. Yeah, it's cleaned it up enough, I think. Alright, let's go back down to these unused audio again. See what else we can glean from it, eh? It's a cool sound. Maybe through a big reverb. Probably don't want that. What I also quite would like is to resample the reverb tail from this and then reverse it so it goes back up into the drop. Pretty common trick, but very effective, which is why people use it a lot. So we're going to go on the resampling here. And I'm going to do it from here, actually. So I get all the reverbs from all three of the throat singing instances. Cool. So then the idea would be to reverse that, maybe. See what happens. maybe we could get some like pitch shifting on it. See how that sounds. It might be too much for such a chill out track. Having a rinsing like sweep might just be too much, but we'll give it a go. We never know unless we try, eh? Come on, one more. Oh, come on. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe a bit too much. Try some of these different stretch algorithms. It's a bit muck. Was that, were you saying that about the other stretch algorithm or this one? Because this sounds a little bit kind of softer now. Maybe you could even have like a let's duplicate this. Have one of them not stretched. Have the other one EQ'd. It's not horrible. That's not good enough though. We need it to be a little bit better than not horrible. Maybe just one octave. Yeah, you might be right actually. Or, well, in conjunction. Let's try both. So one octave. So instead of going up 24 steps, we're going to go up to 12 steps. 12 steps being one octave. Sure. I think it was like, now we've got the filtering on, I don't think it's too bad going up. Yeah, some weird artifacts. Leave it for now. Come back to it. Sometimes you can just listen to things a little bit too much. It's messy. Yeah, I know what you mean. Needs something extra as well. I'm wondering about, again, stealing from the intro with some of like the early risers, such as, where are we talking? Oh. This? Yeah, this stuff. This is really nice for like a nice subtle kind of build up. Could maybe do it. We'll see. It's a little bit loud at the moment, I think. Turn them both down. Yeah. But now we need some kind of like the drop. What do you reckon, guys? The drop here needs something now, like a crash, or I mean, a crash. I'll put a crash there for now. I'm not sure it's the solution though. Maybe a different crash, something a little more subtle. Direct Future Phonic, all your amazing crashes. I just want something a bit crap. Yeah, that's not bad. Turn it down a little bit. Something a little bit more subtle than this like big crash that we've been using a lot. That will do. Yeah. Sometimes good enough is good enough, but not usually. A chord stab. Like a boom. Yeah. What I'm going to do in a sec... Oh, God, what was that? What I'm going to do in a sec is bounce the whole thing out, open up a new project file, and try and like make just the last few bits that I need to make for this track. I think it still needs just like 1 or 2 extra touches here and there. Ah, I know what I've forgotten to do. Forgotten to automate out this. Make sure I've not forgotten any others. Ah, there's this face that's here. Just need to automate the mix on this. So it comes in here. And then what I also wanted to do is just extend this last section. What's going on here? There's something really weird happened. There's like a loud sound I don't think I put there. It's probably that, innit? There it is. Just going to add a little locator here, so I'm getting confused about where I'm working up until. It's to go there, doesn't it? So what I want to do. This is all quite crazy sound design. And then it ends there. So we want to try and make a little moment here. I will do your chord stab idea, Cyber, but I'm going to do a whole lot of processing and writing some parts, but I'm going to do it in a separate project file so that I can take a bunch of processing out of the main project file. try and make this little break work. And then, yeah, have it like chill from here. Take us into the end. Oh, interesting sounds. Where do they come from? I didn't think there was anything here. Oh, there they are. We can use them, I think. And yeah, really into this bit at the end here. Thin and high. I already kind of did that though, for the second half here. So you reach the end of the melody, and then I use the delay. Hang on, where's this section here? Yeah, I use the end of the melody's delay to like make what you're describing like a kind of thin, high kind of pad thing for the rest of the section. This thing here, you can hear the thing above. Maybe I could just reuse that actually. Ooh, yeah, how about, what if I did that? Yeah, it kind of works. Yeah, that's cool. Right, so what was I just doing? I wanted to use some of these. So, what else could I use for this outro kind of section? Oh yeah. I don't really want to add extra beatsy sections in, do I? Yeah. Probably some more of the stuff from this first half, because this first drop is very chill. I feel like we can copy some of the style across from that. I'm even wondering if maybe we've got like too much. I was not really into this being here. I'm gonna get rid of that. I think maybe we've still got too many hi-hats going on there. Yeah. So what I like all these bits here. Yes, things like this might work. Uh-huh. Not too keen on these bits. This bit here. Pretty nice. I'm going to turn that up a fair bit. Make sure I automate this. At the moment, obviously, there's like audio throughout this whole track on this track that I'm editing at the moment. Oh, not through the whole track, but there's a lot of it. So I don't want this reverb that I just applied to this one section to apply to everything else on this audio track. So what I need to do is just automate it out. Damn you, Ableton. Thusly. Oh yeah, I'll have one for them, please. I just finished mine. I'll have one. It's like here, maybe. What's there's some chords going on. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, some of these might be advice for the very end. Just to like fade out the track. Oops, didn't want to do that. Do something like this. These are all too loud, I think, at the moment. Do need to check another log on the wood burner, though. Where's it gone now? Damn it, I let my fire go out. Was too engrossed in the music production. It's alright, still got plenty of leaf left. Sorry, still got plenty of heat left in here, fallen leaf. It's well insulated, so it will last a while still. This ending's shaping up pretty nicely, to be honest. What was that little sound that just happened? I think we'll end it there. They're not doing anything, so we'll just get rid of them to avoid confusion. Leaves left. No. I didn't mean it. Okay. That might be pretty cool for the very end. Right there. Still looking for additional stuff just to kind of steal from earlier in the track, to be honest. Do as much as I can by recycling older material. That's a pretty cool sound effect. I think I stole it from a sample pack though. Oh, nice one. Here's Fallen Leaf. Chin chin. Oh. Got me whiskey. Hmm. This is pretty cool. I'm definitely going to be copying this across, I think, for the end. We'll put it somewhere. We'll make it work. Whatever hotkey I just did, I did not mean to do. I feel like it needs a big reverb. now that I listen to it in context, I'm not too sure about this big sound here. Doesn't quite seem to work in context. Get rid of that for now. Maybe these other sounds that I copied across could replace it, because they were fine. What am I looking for now? I'm looking for this, because this last... not really working for... See how the section flows? Great, Fallen Leaf. Which is great. And then that would be the end, as per my current plan. And where does the track end? That flow into that section. Thanks. I mean, the track would end there. So if we put this all the way back to the beginning, that would make it 7 minutes, 2 seconds. Very respectable length for a track. Right. So I spent quite a while on the end, kind of working on the outro. We still need to do stuff in the middle here. I'm wondering about listening to the whole thing all the way through. And hopefully that'll give me a bit of clarity as to what needs to be done. Because now I've got like a whole complete layout. Often you can feel the whole track now. You can feel the journey it takes you on. And you can recognise that that's not quite right. I'm not sure I'm going to get round to working in the other project today. Just because, I don't know, I don't know if I can be bothered. That would take me into a long stream, and I'm not sure I've got a really long stream in me today. But yeah, let's listen to the whole thing through. If there's anything glaring that needs doing, then we can discuss that after. And this intro, I want to work on these kind of like plinky plonky melody things a little bit more. It's another thing that will happen in a separate project. Get a notepad out, write stuff down. Probably a bit organised about this, eh? So, intro, plinky plonk. Oh. Things to do. Okay, that hit, intro hit, needs sound design. At the moment it's very basic. The drop works quite nicely. Sounds that shouldn't be there happening. Like those ones. Try the intros to drop a bit more. Do you mean the kind of just like random plinky plonky stuff? Or do you mean the written melody that goes like bum 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 bum? Because I did reuse that melody in the second drop, basically, which you'll hear in a sec. This pad there. So the breakdown pad needs more modulation. The written melody. There it is, in the drop, the second drop. I feel like to use it 3 times would be gratuitous. Second drop with the first. Ooh. That's creating a lot of work, I think, in terms of how the track flows. I think it's flowing, for me, I think it's flowing quite good at the moment. I think I'm gonna leave it as is for now. I like the flow of it. Sorry, Cyber. Each to their own, I guess. That is a bit jarring, going from this section to that section. Need to kind of bring it down more towards the end of the section. Right, so that's another to do. I see. I've actually intentionally written it so that it's got like this like it like changes dramatically to accentuate that first bass drop, so that it's like, obviously you're expecting a bass drop because you're listening to a Tea Tree tune and the bass is always going to drop, but like just having like a kind of, it's still a bit unexpected, you know. And I like that. It does need some. I think obviously as well, Cyber. A lot of these issues that I'm talking about will iron out in a mix. Like this hasn't been mixed at all. I mean, I'm doing a bit of mixing as I go along. It's always a good practice to do that, so that you can feel whether the sound's right. But a lot of these kind of like issues around the flow of like this breakdown here, the flow of how the intro goes into the first bass drop is like a mixing issue, really. Like some of these, like this here is too loud. This, for instance, could do with like the gain. It's kind of coming down towards the end. A bit much. And you know, it's always a good practice to kind of like organize your time into writing and mixing as a general rule. But these two processes do bleed into each other. So I do a little bit of mixing when I'm writing, and a little bit of, you know, like writing when I'm mixing, you know, doing some little edits here and there as I go along. But what comes with experience, I'm sure you know this, Cyber, having been a veteran cider producer yourself, is that some issues just get ironed out in the mix, and knowing when to leave stuff till the mix and when not to is just a matter of experience. Yeah, for sure. No, I like it, Cyber. Thanks for the input. I really appreciate it. And you know, I like having a dialogue on stream here where we kind of like bounce ideas back and forwards. Because, you know, your idea, for instance, with the downsampling on the bass drop there, you know, these little things are like, sometimes, I mean, I do a fair bit of downsampling, but, you know, these little bits of input, I really appreciate them. And yeah, and we all learn from it as well, you know. So we learn from it, people who are watching learn from it, and learn from different people's workflows, because it's easy, you know, it's easy for me to present my workflow and be like, this is how it's done. But there's a million different ways to do things, and everyone's got to develop their own unique workflow geared towards making exactly the kind of music that you want to make. And you know, my workflow, and I'm sure yours does as well, stems from having a clear vision of the kind of sound I want to make, and then reverse engineering that to come up with a process to be able to consistently produce the sound that I want. And each person stumbles upon a different workflow, and that defines your individual sound. So having this kind of melting pot of different people's input, I think, is really valuable. Right, what are we doing? To be honest, I'm kind of flagging a bit. It might be getting to the end. I'm kind of reaching a bit of a natural end point in that I've kind of done everything I wanted to do within this project file. And now the next step is to open up a fresh project file, open up some synths, start rinsing out some synthy sounds. Need probably a few kind of like impacts and risers and stuff here and there. But it's kind of like, it's a natural kind of break point, because when I open up a new project file, then it's nice to come to that with a fresh mind, so that you've got fresh creativity and hopefully nice fresh sounds come out. So I'll be leaving it there for today. Fallen Leaf, you made a whole stream. Finally, it happened, and it was glorious. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all your input. Thanks for all the chats. And same to you, Cyber. Same to you, Dido, and Charlie, and everyone else who was here for this stream. It's been a really good stream. Yeah, and this track, I think one more good right in sesh, and we'll be pretty much there. And it'll be time to open up a fresh new track starting from scratch very soon. Maybe we'll do that on the next stream, and then we'll finish this off, because it's good to have more than one. It's good to have more than one track on the go, you know, because you get bored of doing one track, so it's good to have at least two. So you're getting bored of one, you go to the other, and then you can never get bored, never lose creativity. Yes, I have a Discord. Do you want to find me on Insta, Fallen Leaf? Let me just post my Insta, and then send us a message on that, because I'm a bit. These messages will be up on the internet like for a long time, so I want to just keep things a little bit on lockdown with my Discord. But if you add me on Insta, send us a DM, and then we'll sort out the Discord. You haven't been on there in like 15 years? Oh, if you struggle with that, hit me up on SoundCloud if you're on there. I'm guessing you know my SoundCloud deets. It's in the description of this stream. Let me just post my SoundCloud. You can message me on there, and we can sort out the connections for Discord, because that would be great. Maybe we get a little server going for the regular stream heads. Yeah, but thanks guys, it's been great. And I will catch you all on the next stream on Thursday.